two, two, one, 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 two, one, two. Yep, I like your thinking. I think we are. gloves on. Pardon me?
Marvin with a lot of love, a lot of patience,
What's that?
a lot of uplifting.
Shall we move it?
This is the family they're walking up now. The lawyers, the support. I cannot believe them two older sisters of ours trying to get the funds first. I'm just saying. I know that's right. I know, right? Y'all come on too. Tell them 5, tell them 9, tell them 11. Y'all come on. Y'all better come on. What is that? Y'all better come on.
Test, 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 2. Test, test, one. Test, one, 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 two, test, 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 one. Test 1 1. What do you put it down at your feet, Bill? 1, 2, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Huh? Yeah.
Marvin Haynes, had to pick him up. Oh my God, why you doing that? Hello, we listen to music, we're outside and we're told, can we call you back? I just told you outside, we wait on the line, I know you
He just asked me to set it up. So, oh, did he not know that yours? You put that up there? Okay, I'm sure it's fine. Then. Yeah, we're good. Thank you so much for doing that. I didn't even see that our mic was on there.
Test. 1, 1, 2, test. just had you pop it out.
Yeah, yeah. Copy that. It's 51.
Huh?
51 right now.
I'm like 10:51.
Yeah. I was planning on just tossing the sister, but you can run a little file, dot, dot, dot. Don't have much set up plans.
Yeah, Bloomer's at the presser at noon. You listen to that?
No.
I'm listening to the record, so they're taking live at noon.
Okay. Are you still thinking of going to call first?
So you pop through that side now, Bill, huh? Yes.
like get a little distance between there and here. I'll just move it back. That's fine. Just move it straight back. Go back a little. So it's not. Yeah, that's fine. Just move it. See you later. Yeah.
Marvin, could we get you over here? Could we talk to you over here? Could we get you to the podium real quick?
Yeah, I told you bring your hat. Ha ha. I bet you don't listen next time. Sorry. Somebody told you to do something.
Could we get you over here? Marvin, over here.
You gotta wait. He's talking to his lawyer. Yeah, let's wait. No, do it. Fuck it. Do it. Fuck it. Do it. Yeah, I know that's right.
Thank you all. I just want to thank everybody for supporting me. The Great North Innocent Project. Julie Jonas, she came back into my life, and that's why I'm in this moment right here. She introduced me to Andrew, Anna, Jazz, Sydney, everybody. I just want to thank everybody that supported me through this whole journey. And now y'all can recognize that I'm actually innocent. So, thank you. I'm just happy. I'm just happy that I can correct my narrative. That's it. I'm so happy.
What's the first thing you're gonna do?
I'm going to see my mom.
Bye. Meet him somewhere else. He's been here long enough. Yes, we have. Go. We're all going. Everybody going and everybody we're going. Thank you guys so much.
Talk to me, Bill.
Test 1 2. Test 1 2.
Yeah. Where do you want to be? Do you want me?
Anyway,
I don't know.
Here, you want to just. Triple box. Thank you.
Walked out of that prison just moments ago. Now, what's important about this decision, have to stress it strongly here, is not only did a Hennepin County District Court judge sign off on this decision to toss out Marvin Haynes' first-degree murder conviction, but the Hennepin County Attorney's Office signed off on this agreement. This was a joint agreement between the prosecution as well as attorneys for Marvin Haynes at the Great North Innocence Project, and in the end, Judge William Koch signing the paperwork. And what is so startling about the Hennepin County Attorney's Office signing off on it is to think a prior generation ago it was this office that prosecuted the case under then Hennepin County Attorney Amy Klobuchar. Today, Mary Moriarty writing in a statement to Fox 9 that a terrible injustice was done to Marvin Haynes.
Why are you here today, nearly 2 decades later, still fighting your case?
Because I'm innocent, 100%.
And this is Haynes in Judge Cook's courtroom late last month, maintaining his innocence, again serving a life sentence for the 2004 Minneapolis flower shop murder. He insists all along he did not commit it. He and his family have felt for decades that no one would listen. Well, today, Judge Koch signing off on the paperwork. Again, the Hennepin County attorney's office agreeing to the move, believing Haynes' constitutional rights to a fair trial were stepped on and violated all those years ago. The county attorney's team pointing out there was no forensic evidence at this murder scene, no DNA, no video of Marvin Haynes in that flower shop, and no murder weapon was ever recovered. Only questionable eyewitness testimony and shoddy investigative police work on the use of lineups at the time. Even with all of that, though, one friend of victim Randy Sherer, who sat in on the entirety of that original trial, told me over the phone today he is still convinced Haynes pulled the trigger.
When I was in the trial, everything he said was lying. You could tell it. You could look on his face, listen to his words, go through the testimony, go through what he said, go through what the witnesses said. The only person this person is getting out is because the people that testified him are now deceased. Otherwise, he'd still be there. He wouldn't even attempt to get out.
And clearly that gentleman now very much in the minority. I mentioned Marvin Haynes' family. His sister Marvina Haynes has been a strong advocate fighting for his release. We know some of the sisters were at the prison as he walked out. And then these final words from Mary Moriarty today. Again, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office signing off on this conviction being vacated. Quote, doing the right thing sometimes means we must seek to undo the harms of the past, not defend them. And that is what we have tried to do today. It is not easy to admit and correct our wrongs, but it is necessary. This office has now apologized to Marvin Haynes, all of these parties, Haynes just leaving Stillwater, the Hennepin County Attorney's Office, the Great North Innocence Project, everybody gathering here at noon for a joint news conference to talk about it. What must be going through Marvin Haynes' mind now? 18 years in prison today. A free man, Tom.
Right, and it begs the question, Paul, now that he is freed and he's been wronged according to both of those agencies, is there a possibility that there could be a lawsuit in the future against those agencies?
You would have to imagine this story does not end here. Obviously, something we'll be asking about. I don't know off the top of my head. I know there are some state rules when it comes to wrongfully incarcerated. You prove that that you were wrongfully convicted. So we'll have to kind of keep an eye on what happens going forth on that track. Certainly, his lawyers will represent those feelings here in about an hour. But clearly, right now, he's going to go home, enjoy some freedom. His family has long fought for this, and today really their dreams, their wishes have come true. They finally believe justice has been served. And just one other note that we did hear from that Sherer friend, I do want to point out that all of Sherer's immediate loved ones have since passed on, so there isn't really a first ring sort of family member to respond on behalf of this family today. But obviously, their family now going through quite a bit extended-wise when you think about what happened in that flower shop May 2004.
Right. Two sides to the coin. All right. Thank you. That's Paul Bloom reporting live. Thanks, Paul. Haynes' release from prison is the end of almost a two-decade odyssey of him fighting to prove his innocence. Our Bill Keller is live. He's outside of the prison in Stillwater, where Haynes walked out a free man just a short time ago. Bill, you spoke with his family. Tell us what they're saying, how they're feeling.
Well, they're feeling overjoyed right now, as you can imagine. In fact, Marvin is still here. Kind of hard to get a little look at him. They're trying to get him out of here safely. He is a very excited man who says he wants to see his mother. It's the first thing he's going to do. In fact, take a look at this video from just moments ago as Marvin Haynes emerged from the Minnesota Correctional Facility at Stillwater to the sound of cheers, clapping. And before Marvin, of course, walked out a free man, he spent nearly 2 decades behind bars. But before he was released, his family has been out here waiting in the cold for what has probably felt like an eternity, at least about 2 hours. We caught up with one of his sisters after she arrived here at Stillwater.
Happy. It's been 19 years, and my brother was wrongly convicted. This is the best day of my life right now.
When did you find out?
A couple of days ago.
Your reaction?
I'm happy. I thank the Lord. Innocence Project people is my hero.
What's the first thing you're going to do when he walks out here?
Run to him.
Yeah, they were singing Christmas carols. There was a live stream going on. Still a lot of excitement, a lot of folks who are still showing up. In fact, that silver truck just showed up as he was trying to get a picture of Marvin, who is now a free man for the first time after nearly 20 years. Again, they're just trying to get out of the parking lot. That'll be the hardest thing I think he has to do all day today. He's in this black Chevrolet little SUV on his way to go visit his mother after being released from prison after nearly 2 decades. Back to you.
All right, Bill Keller live there in Stillwater. Thank you, Bill. And again, stay with Fox 9 and Fox Local and the app later today, where the Great North Innocence Project, Haynes' family, and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office will hold a joint news conference about this decision to exonerate him almost 20 years later. You can also get the latest at fox9.com.
The snap is down. The kick by Joseph is right down the middle. And we have points in Las Vegas.
Well, in case you missed the Vikings game, that's what you miss. The only points in the game, that field goal, the entire game. But with that field goal, the Vikings get a win, and it is a win, and it keeps them in the playoff hunt in the wild card spot. The Vikings snapped a 2-game losing streak with that win, though. Some big questions from many fans' minds. And, of course, how is Justin Jefferson just returning from the lineup after week 5? Unfortunately, Jefferson left the game midway through the second quarter after that hard hit over the middle. Pass was thrown high. He was taken to the hospital as a precaution, but flew home with the team. We're hoping to get an update on JJ later this week, as if maybe even today. As for the game, the Vikings and Raiders were scoreless for 58 minutes, and Kevin O'Connell benched Josh Dobbs with about 9 minutes to play. Nick Mullins came in, led the game's only scoring drive, getting the win, 3-0.
It was a collective effort. You obviously never know when your name's going to be called, but you just prepare and work as hard as you can and just trust that there's a plan out there for you. And so I did that, stepped in. The guys did an incredible job. I mean, they had a tough day. Just a game like that where it's up and down, you never know what's going to happen. Just grinding it out as an offensive line and the skill group. And so I just told them, like, I know it's been a hard day, but just need your best. And I thought collectively we were able to do that.
Well, you said the right thing, certainly, because it worked. So with that win, let's look at the current playoff picture, at least when it comes to the AFC North. The Lions still leading the NFC North with a record of 9-4. They lost yesterday. The Vikings are now 7-6. The Packers play tonight. They have a record of 6-6. Chicago, who beat the Lions yesterday, last place with a record of 5-8. It is a short week for the Vikings. They will play again Saturday, heading to Cincinnati to play the Bengals. Kickoff is at noon. Still much more to come here on the Fox 9 Morning News at 11. Changes are coming with how you're paying on Amazon if you're using Venmo. And our lack of winter is taking a toll on some who rely on snow for their business, but the warmer conditions good for others. Plus, Cody is in for Keith on this Monday. Hi, Cody.
Yeah, good morning, Tom. We do have a lot of cloud cover. That's going to be kind of a common theme today, but a lot of that pushes out this evening and tonight. Pretty sunny and gets a whole lot warmer in that 7-day forecast. We'll talk that coming up.
Fox Local is how you stream Fox 9 on your TV for free.
Well, welcome back. As we've certainly seen the cloud cover over the last couple, 3 days or so. We're eventually going to break through that. Still have a couple of flurries in some isolated pockets, and most of that is actually from the man-made snow that's appearing at some of our ski hills. As the ski hills are making snow with temperatures in the low to middle 20s, it's that perfect temperature where you throw a little extra moisture in the atmosphere and you can actually develop some snowflakes. And that's kind of what we've done in and around some of the ski hills. So we've seen in and out of some flakes officially at MSP Airport with little dustings or coatings in some cases in the South Metro. By this afternoon, by the evening commute, temperatures around the freeze mark, give or take. We'll see if we can actually see a little patchy sun. So here's a live look in the southeastern metro. This is 35E and near Highway 77. This is where the bulk of the snow accumulation, aka the half-inch or so to a coating and some slippery roadways this morning, ended up. You can see kind of the trees will have a little dusting on them. Certainly didn't have that yesterday, as a lot of that kind of fell off. So little fresh coating in parts of the southeastern metro. I'm going to show you where that landed here in just a second. Meanwhile, temperatures pretty much in those upper teens and low to mid 20s area wide. Marshall, Windham going to be different now because actually some sunshine in southwestern Minnesota. Sun and 34 right now in Marshall. And you can see that back edge of the clouds continue to press off to the north and east on our visible satellite. So we may try to squeeze out a little bit of sun across some of our central Minnesota counties. We'll see if we can actually get that in the Twin Cities metro, fingers crossed. But earlier this morning, as the ski hills were making snow, we were getting much more coverage than was intended because with your dew point, your temperature close together, a lot of low-level moisture, temperatures were at the perfect level to actually spread and develop new snowflakes. So as the snow guns, we'll call them, as it shoots it up into the atmosphere, near the ski hill, it continues to kind of float from there where you get extra lift above that with the cloud layer just above our heads. And so that can actually produce more snowflakes. And so you get these little bands that develop off of the hills themselves and go basically in that general direction of the wind. So downwind, one of those from Highland Hills, basically towards downtown Minneapolis. The second one straight northeastward, generally towards MSP Airport. So it wasn't much, but it took, I'm sure, some folks by surprise that put a little coating on some of our roadways in some cases, and it led to some slippery conditions earlier this morning. Meanwhile, cloud cover of the most abundant cold front swinging in, though. That's actually going to kick the cloud cover to the east as we get near to Tuesday. So even if we don't get some sun today, we should see some decent sunshine on our Tuesday. So we'll go for some patchy late day sun here in the Twin Cities. Temperatures topping out in those low to middle 30s, maybe close to 40 in parts of southwestern Minnesota that actually see some decent sun. But the clouds clearing from west to east this evening will be fairly clear in the overnight hours. Teens and low 20s with a solid western breeze, so we'll wake up to single-digit wind chills tomorrow. And then temperatures hovering in those 20s, which is perfectly seasonable. But again, we haven't done that much. So with a western breeze, 10, 15, 20 miles an hour and wind chills in the teens, it's going to feel pretty chilly. At least we'll have the sunshine. Sunshine continues for pretty much the rest of the 7-day forecast, but temperatures rise from here. We'll talk that coming up here at 11:30.
All right, very good. Cody, thank you. The lack of snow we have seen so far this winter has some people waiting, wondering, and even worrying. Rose Schmidt spoke to businesses that rely on snow to thrive to see how our current conditions are really having an effect on those folks.
The weekend brought a light dusting of the metro, coating homes and driveways, but not much more than that.
Obviously, if you're in the snow business, the lack of snow can obviously reduces the amount of revenue that you're bringing in.
Ryan Bierlein from Beanick Property Services in Chanhassen says since Halloween, his crews have had some work de-icing sidewalks and parking lots, as well as extra fall leaf cleanups. But the plows haven't had any use.
I've been in this business for over 25 years, and I think the lowest snow year I've ever seen is in the mid-20s. So it'll come, but it's just taking its time this year.
It's sweet time, according to Chief Meteorologist Ian Leonard's 7-day forecast.
I've got high temperatures approaching 50 degrees as we head through Thursday. It's like, that'll be a week away from Christmas.
By December 10th last year, 15 inches had fallen. This year, we've had 4.5. Ian says El Nino conditions in Minnesota tend to mean slightly warmer winters with less snow.
I'm thrilled about that. I mean, I would love some snow for Christmas, but I'm very happy. The less snow, the better for me.
And speaking of the holiday season, we tracked down the jolly man in red and white himself.
Last year, do you remember being really snowy this time?
Yes.
It's good for my sleigh.
Santa tells us Rudolph won't be happy if we don't have a white Christmas, which is an inch on the ground. But is that a possibility?
I'm not a gambling man by nature, but I wouldn't bet for it.
You heard it from Ian right there, and Santa Claus, exclusive. These snow removal businesses and those folks say they are seeing a silver lining to the mild winter so far. They've had extra time to get their equipment shipshape and ready. Business headlines for you now on this Monday. A major deal in the health insurance industry is reportedly off. A report from Axios says Cigna has backed out of a deal, a possible purchase of Humana. The report says Cigna and Humana were in negotiations, but the two sides could not agree on a purchase price. A possible merged value of the two companies could have surpassed $140 billion. The sale of Humana to Cigna could have triggered antitrust scrutiny. Meanwhile, Cigna says it plans to buy back an additional $10 billion of its own shares. If you use Venmo for your Amazon purchases, you will soon need to find another option. The company is dropping Venmo payments starting January 10th. However, Amazon says Venmo debit and credit cards will still be accepted. PayPal, the parent company of Venmo, says both companies decided to end the option, but it's unclear as to why. Amazon started accepting Venmo payments back in October. If your relationship, maybe it's a bit rocky right now, today may not be your day. Why December 11th has been dubbed National Breakup Day, and why you may want to stop hiding those presents this year. A cautionary tale. Those stories are up next, and what's trending on this start to the work week. We'll be right back. Welcome back on this Monday. Here's a look at what's trending for you as we get going. It's not just the holiday season. Award season is also heating up in Hollywood.
Yeah, this morning the Golden Globe nominations were announced, and just like at the box office, Barbenheimer dominated. Are we surprised? Barbie and Oppenheimer were the two most nominated films, Barbie scoring 9 nominations, including Best Picture, Musical, or Comedy, Best Actress for Margot Robbie, and Best Supporting Actor for Ryan Gosling. Oppenheimer was nominated for 8 awards, including Best Picture Drama, Cillian Murphy for Best Actor, and Robert Downey Jr. getting a Best Supporting Actor nod. The Golden Globes will be held on January 7th.
What is the most wonderful time of year to be single? A new study shows today, December 11th, is the day most couples call it quits.
I'm breaking up with you, Tom.
Ouch. So it has become officially known as International Breakup Day. In a recent survey, 75% of respondents say they have gone through a holiday breakup. Tier relationship experts say the timing is likely because this time of year is often stressful, and we also start to self-reflect, and maybe we don't want to buy that expensive present for that person who are kind of like,
You self-reflect on who's important in your life.
And who do I want to spend the dough on?
Yeah, there's that. All right, well, if you're looking to spice up your memory, how about some wasabi? According to a study by a Japanese university, the spice can improve both your short-term and your long-term memory. Researchers followed more than 70 people ages 60 to 80 over 12 weeks. Half of them took 100 milligrams of wasabi extract each night before bed. After 3 months, their episodic memory scores jumped 18%.
Wow. That is incredible.
Give me some of that extract.
Yeah, a little wasabi. It makes me tear up, but
spicy.
Maybe worth it. As you do your holiday shopping, it may not be a good idea to hide your gifts. That's according to a study from Southern Methodist University, SMU. Researchers found more than 25% of gifts people hide are so well hidden, guess what? They end up losing them. Oops. Experts say the best hiding spots for gifts are hollowed out books, shoe boxes, on closet shelves, pockets of clothes in the closet. The worst place to hide gifts, drawers or a bedroom dresser. Well, that's because those get found.
Also true.
But you're not going to lose them that way in a drawer, are you? I mean, it's something
I don't know.
You're using.
Hopefully
it's your underwear drawer.
I have discovered some years later where I was like, oh yeah, I did
really?
buy that. A couple.
Okay.
That's the hard part. That's the downside of shopping all year.
Yeah. Well, because that's your MO. That's what you do.
That is what I do.
Yeah.
And then I lose them. Oops.
There you
go.
Hey,
gift for me.
Cody is our cautionary tale.
Yeah, something like that. Cautionary tale. Ooh, there we go. In the weather world, with some more frozen temperatures, it's a little cool, it's a little cloudy, but hey, we're stepping things up. We're going to see the sunshine tomorrow and some 40s in the 7-day. We'll talk that coming up.
Also coming up, some teachers in the largest school district in Minnesota, are they getting ready to strike? What's happening today in that whole process? That's just ahead here on the Fox 9 Morning News at 11.
This is Fox 9 News at 11.
We are Monday and getting down to it, December 11th. It doesn't feel like it weather-wise. We're still, Cody, right now at 34 for the high temperature today, still warmer than we should be.
If we get there.
If we get there.
Admittedly, that's optimistic. 100%. The weekend was actually fairly seasonable. Technically, we're still a little bit above average in terms of especially morning lows. And it's really kind of our lows that have been so far above average for the most part. Yesterday's high was actually 25, which is below average, but you combine that with the morning low of 23, which should be in the middle teens. Yesterday was perfectly seasonable in terms of average temperature itself. Now, today, trying for a 34, and I say trying because we have to kind of scour out at least a little bit of the cloud cover to get there. We're still at 24 coming into the lunch hour, so I'm not sure we're actually going to make it there. Should get pretty close to the freeze mark. Should be a little warmer than yesterday. Thanks, south winds now starting to kick up a little bit, and it's that mixing in the atmosphere that starts to fan out the cloud cover, and so we are at least expecting it to thin out a bit. Whether we actually escape it or not is a whole nother ball game. But the back edge of the clouds right in there now. So to the south and west of the Twin Cities Metro, the southwest side could get a little sunshine. We'll see. Northeast side, yeah, probably not. So highs will kind of range probably anywhere from 29 to say 32 in the Twin Cities. I'm just going to keep the 34 at this point. Who can really tell the difference? But we're going to try for it. Cold front will slide through across the state as we get through this evening and overnight. And it's that western breeze that will kick in. It will make it chilly tonight and tomorrow, but it's also going to kick a lot of the cloud cover to the east. So eventually mixing up the atmosphere enough to push out the clouds. It's just probably not going to happen for the Twin Cities Metro until after sunset tonight. The large storm system up and down the East Coast brought several inches of rain to some cases to the coastline from about Delaware up through about the Boston area, now pushing off the East Coast. A lot of flight delays yesterday, plenty of flight delays today. The good news is cancellations are to a minimum, which is great. So there's the cold front continuing to sweep eastward. Outside of that, there's not much out there. So it's still going to be pretty quiet, very little of any precipitation.
That's fine. Hmm. And test, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Of course. Right. Okay, yeah. Okay, good. Okay, yeah, that should be good enough. All right, sounds good. Yep. All right, bye. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
In a pretty dense building.
Yeah. Yeah, when you say it's dropping out, I'm like, yeah, I'm in a basement.
Yeah, you kind of like being in the basement of a, and the family's like, oh, big building. And the big house and stuff. So I don't think you need to worry. Yeah, I mean, that one shot was they'll just still walk in the room here, you know? Yeah.
3,800.
Okay, so 3 more seconds. That's what's confusing me.
Right.
It's like trying to figure out how to get through. And I just am being
Well, did you want the white again?
no, if that's what you got.
Yeah, that's. Right. Yeah, I mean, these look like they have a little bit of blue in them, where these are a little orange. So, how's that look? All right.
You say 4,100? Kaya,
38.
Okay.
So, yeah, with a different lens and all that, it would, you know.
It's already mixed.
Right, exactly.
Depending on. I gotta remember, I really like sleeping.
Right.
Kyle, that's what I was trying to think of. And he just left? Yeah. Right. Yeah. Okay. Oh. Yes, I've been getting emails. Yeah, I should get connected. It's going too long. That would be nice. Oh, it's on a Wednesday? Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, hello, this is a mic check. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Yeah.
Does the malt box work?
It seems to be, yeah. Well, I'll wait for you to set up and then.
Well, I'll be in there. But,
No, I'm not in a hurry.
saw a couple mics up there, so.
Yeah, the malt box is working just fine. Just waiting for him.
No, I know, but I was like, was it feel good?
No, not really. There's a reason I stand behind the camera. Yeah. Nah, if I don't have to do public speaking, I'm quite happy.
Yeah, but that would make you more fun to watch.
I've done a couple of live shots in my life, and my first one ever was like, the first one was fine because I didn't have time. It was like mic up and go. The second one I had a half an hour to freak out, and it was like, and it was at a tornado in Arkansas, and I'm like, behind me is a tree. It was just, I was so bad. Exactly. Exactly. Just a warning, we're in a basement and the live views are not doing very well. They put a huge delay on mine and it seems to be working, but we'll see.
I'm gonna put a 20 on mine. We're just live streaming it, but.
Right.
Dude, Google Maps didn't exist then. In 05? Oh, for sure. Yeah, okay, yeah, I remember having like printing out. Yeah, oh, I remember. In 2007. You know, iPhones didn't exist.
It was only a few years ago we still had Hudson map books in our cars to get everywhere.
I wouldn't have done well with that.
Oh, yep.
I'll come meet you.
Carla Holt was notorious for missing hits. Ask her about how she burned her hand. She was getting ready for a morning live shot, and she had so much gunk built up on her hair dryer that it set on fire and turned her hair dryer into a flamethrower.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. So clean your hair dryer from every now and then.
I know, yeah. It's very glamorous job.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you remember when Carla did that?
I don't. I just hear about it.
Yeah. My wife Rebecca was the producer that day, and like wasn't sure if she was going to be the one running into the emergency room or not.
I can't even imagine what would go through my mind
If you can wedge in there, I'll let you. That's me right there. Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you're fine. There's a malt box also, but I mean, you do what you need to do, but. You plugged in now?
Yeah.
All right. Testing 1, 2, 3. Todd, you plugged in?
No, yeah.
Okay. I'll wait. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing 1, 2, 3. Bueller. Alrighty. Yeah, it is. We just got new cameras. The strap, on the other hand, has been. I've probably had since 19.
And then basically do a U-turn and then walk back to the right.
Oh, hey, what's up? Hey, I just had to swap batteries. I want to make sure everything's still looking good. Okay, thanks. I mean, we're in a basement, so a lot of these nothing fits, but it seems to be, he put a huge delay on it. You're here. I mean, you want time to day? Yeah, but my time of day is not entirely. Within a minute. An hour. Well, okay, yeah, it's an hour and 1 minute. So I have 11:49. Yeah, I have 12:48. So it's within about 30 minutes. You're a minute and a half. You know what? Let me zoom back.
did a little bit of a cat here. Get through these chairs. See if I can move these.
We good? We're good. Almost 20 years ago, a terrible injustice occurred when the state prosecuted Marvin Haynes. We inflicted harm on Mr. Haynes and his family, and on Harry Sherer, the victim, his family, and the community. We cannot undo the trauma experienced by those impacted by this prosecution, but today we have taken a step towards righting this wrong. This morning, Judge William Koch signed an agreement made by the Hennepin County Attorney's Office and the defense to set aside Mr. Haynes' wrongful conviction. Mr. Haynes walked out of prison this morning a free man. Marvin was just 16 years old when he received a life sentence. Like many black boys at the time, our criminal legal system too easily wrote him off, failed to protect his rights, and sent him to prison. He was a 16-year-old boy who had little chance to defend himself against a legal system that determined wrongfully that he was guilty of this murder. Mr. Haynes' conviction rested almost exclusively on eyewitness identification. There was no forensic evidence, such as fingerprints or DNA. There was no video connecting him to the crime. The murder weapon was never recovered. That should have made any prosecutor hesitant to bring charges because eyewitness identifications are often unreliable and one of the leading causes of wrongful convictions. Nationally, nearly 28% of exonerations involved eyewitness identification. Mr. Haynes' conviction is now one of them. There were obvious and alarming reasons to believe that the eyewitness identification was wrong in this case. The victim's sister interacted with the shooter, whom she testified that she had seen several times before that day, for several minutes before he pulled out a gun and shot her brother. She gave the police specific details about the killer, and this is critically important. Details that clearly describe someone that could never be mistaken for Marvin Haynes. Mr. Haynes was younger, 50 pounds lighter, significantly shorter, had much longer hair, and a different manner of speech than the man she described to the police. She was shown a lineup, a group of pictures, and she identified one man as being the shooter with 75 to 80% certainty. That man was not Marvin Haynes. Despite this information, the police used coercive and discredited tactics to get witnesses to identify Mr. Haynes, identifications that those witnesses have discredited. The prosecutor used this information to obtain a wrongful conviction. I want to pause here to say that Mr. Sherer's sister did nothing wrong. She tried in good faith to identify the person responsible for her brother's murder. She and her family had a right to expect that law enforcement, including the prosecution, would rely on best practices for scientifically sound eyewitness identification to lessen the chances that she would identify an innocent man. One of the lead detectives in this case even testified 2 weeks ago that he had deep concerns about the lineup procedures used during this investigation. Yet his concerns were brushed aside. The system failed her and her family because the police never found the person responsible for the murder of their loved one. They never had real closure in this case. And the legal system failed this community. We will never know whether Harry Sherer's killer harmed others. The Hennepin County Attorney's Office bears responsibility for taking almost 20 years away from Marvin Haynes and his family. We have deeply devoted professionals in this office who are committed to doing the right thing every day. And doing the right thing sometimes means we must seek to undo the harms of the past and not defend them. And that is what we have tried to do today. It is not easy to admit and correct our wrongs, but it is necessary. I want to thank all of those who worked so hard to achieve this result. The Innocence Project, who represented Mr. Haynes, the Haynes family, who never stopped supporting him and fighting for him, the community, who joined him in that fight, and our staff, both attorneys and non-attorneys, who recognized the importance of righting our wrongs. To Marvin Haynes, you lost the opportunity to graduate from high school, to attend prom, have relationships, attend weddings and funerals, and spend time with your family around the holidays. I am so deeply sorry for that. I commit to correcting other injustices and to making sure we do not participate in making our own. Thank you. I'd like to invite Andrew Marquardt and Andrew.
Thank you, Mary, for those remarks. Really appreciate it. So my name's Andrew Marquardt. I'm an attorney at Great North Innocence Project. And on behalf of Marvin's legal team, I just want to say how thrilled we were to see Marvin walk out of Stillwater as a free man today. It's so good. You know, starting when Marvin was just 16 years old, he spent nearly 20 years in prison for a crime he didn't commit. And that's far too many birthdays, far too many Christmases for a man who was innocent. But you know what? This year on his birthday, his 36th birthday was just last week, he got to find out that the Hennepin County Attorney's Office had agreed to vacate his conviction. So how's that for a birthday present? And you know, and this year he's gonna get to spend Christmas with his family, and it's gonna be a very Merry Christmas. You know, when Marvin went to prison, he was just a boy, and if any of you watched his interrogation video, what you see there is a boy who's been thrust against his will into a very grown-up situation. You know, he was physically slight, he was a little immature, but you know, today, when Marvin walked out of Stillwater, he walked out as a man. And he's a man that I can say I've really come to admire, getting to know him. You know, this is someone who has every right in the world to be bitter, to be angry, but he's not. And he carries himself with this remarkable sense of hope and positivity that is so admirable. And Marvin, I can't wait to see what this next chapter of your life has in store for you. I want to thank Mary Moriarty and the Hennepin County Attorney's Office for agreeing to vacate Marvin's conviction. You know, this act really embodies the principle that the prosecutor is supposed to be a minister of justice and not merely an advocate in our adversarial system. So I want to thank Mary and her office for looking seriously at the evidence in this case, and concluding that the right act, the just act, was to concede that this conviction could not stand. And we all recognize that finality is an important value in criminal law, but it can never be the highest value. It can never trump justice. So thank you, Mary, for making justice the highest value. You know, I should note that even before agreeing to vacate the conviction, the county attorney's office agreed to waive certain procedural defenses that it otherwise could have raised, including the statute of limitations. And this is some wonky legal stuff, but I can't overstate how important it is. Because here in Minnesota, it is exceedingly difficult to bring a post-conviction claim if you're more than 2 years out from your conviction. While Minnesota law does allow for some exceptions based on newly discovered evidence, they are extraordinarily hard to invoke in the overwhelming majority of cases. So fortunately, in this case, the county attorney's office saw that Marvin had real claims and recognized that it would be unjust for him to be kept out of court based on procedural technicalities that have nothing to do with the merits of his claims. But as a matter of good public policy, we can't rely on that. You know, we can't just rely on prosecutors to voluntarily do the right thing. So that's why we're advocating for legislation that would make a more workable statute of limitations so that meritorious claims based on newly discovered evidence will not get thrown out on the front end just because that new evidence happens to come up more than 2 years later. So this is House File 2400, Senate File 2597. So, you know, if you want to see more people like Marvin Haynes have a shot at justice, I encourage you to tell your legislators to support this bill in the upcoming legislative session. I got to recognize our amazing team, Anna McGinn, who's up here, Jazz Hampton, Sydney Dobbs for their extraordinary work in this case. Our longtime legal director, Julie Jonas, also made really significant contributions before leaving for St. Thomas Law School, as did one of our former clinical students from the University of Minnesota Law School, Trish Palermo. And you know, I'm so happy that we got to play this role, and I'm very proud of the role our team played. But there have been so many people fighting for Marvin for a very, very long time. First and foremost, of course, is his family. Yeah. Marvin's got 5 sisters, and they have been relentless in advocating for their brother over the past 2 decades. And if you've met any of these women in recent years, you know that they were not going to rest until their brother was free. And they, you know, they deserve a lot of credit for making sure that the rest of us could not ignore this injustice. And there's so many other friends and community members, including people here today, who fought for Marvin every step of the way. So I want to thank you all for never giving up on Marvin. And I'm just so thrilled to say that as of today, Marvin Haynes is fully exonerated and a free man. So thank you.
First, I just want to thank Mary and her administration. Without them, I wouldn't be in this position. I want to thank the Innocent Project, Julie Jonas, Andrew, Anna, Sydney, Jazz, everybody from the community that supported me and recognized that I was innocent and came to my aid. It takes the community to recognize these things to change it. So I just appreciate everybody for their support and their love, and I'm exonerated now. I'm innocent. Like, I'm just glad about that. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Marvin Haynes. I'm the sister of Marvin Haynes, who has spent 19 years of his life wrongfully incarcerated. When Minneapolis police took Marvin from my family, it really caused a lot of harm, as we heard Mary speak about that today. Today, we're here to rejoice Marvin's freedom and to make sure, also, we want to make sure that these type of injustices doesn't continue to happen. Our family had been trying to get Marvin's story out for 19 years. Why does it take so much time for an innocent man? I'm very excited today. I'm full of joy. My heart couldn't be more happier. After this, we're going to go and visit my mom. I know she's going to be very happy to see my brother. I want to thank all of the community members who supported my brother, my family along the way. I want to also thank Unicorn Riot, Star Tribune, Fox 9, and everyone else who believed in Marvin's story and started to help me put together articles to be able to tell Marvin's story. For a long time, we tried to tell Marvin's story, but we didn't actually know I didn't actually know how to tell Marvin's story, or what did it mean that my brother was wrongfully incarcerated. When this stuff happened to Marvin, the incarceration rate went up by 600% in our community. So everybody that we knew was going to prison around that time. And so it took a lot of education. The higher power put strength in our body, and we're here today. And again, I just want to say thank you, guys. I'm just lost for words.
Questions? Hey, Marvin, Paul Bloom, Fox 9. Quick question. I know it came up during your testimony, but I think maybe one of your sisters spoke about you hadn't seen them in umpteen years.
Yeah.
I think your mom is ill. I don't want to get too personal, but have you not seen her in a while? Have you seeing your family today? Like what?
I'm excited. I'm so excited to see my family. It's been years since I've seen a lot of them. I haven't seen my mom like in 3 or 4 years since she had her stroke. So that's been difficult to deal with, to go through this, and not being able to see them, and just it's been a struggle. But I'm just glad I'm here. After I leave here, that's the first place I'm going to see my mother, and I'm just appreciative to be here and people to recognize my innocence. So I'm just grateful. I mean, it took 19 years, but I'm here, and all I want to do is move forward and just get my life back. That's it. That's it. Andrew can attest to this. I was extremely just excited. I shed tears. I haven't cried so much in 19 years in that moment. So it's just like, I was excited. I'm just like overwhelmed with emotion. I was excited just to get my life back, to know like these people has recognized my innocence, and just know the truth prevailed at this time, you know? So yeah. If it wasn't for my sister and the Innocent Project, I wouldn't be here. Like, it took my sister. My sister lost so much trying to fight for me to get innocence. Like, she neglected herself in the process of me getting my life back. So I mean, words cannot describe what she means to me and my family. It's a lot of work went into this. A lot of work. I'm just grateful. But if it wasn't for Mary as well, though, like, I wouldn't be here. So it was a collective. And the judge, oh my God, I want to thank the judge, because he recognized this stuff. Like, it was in plain sight. And it's just like, a lot of people neglected me when I was trying to tell my story and put it out there. People didn't want to listen to it. But I was relentless, and I'm glad that people recognize it now. And that's it. That's all that matters. It's multiple inmates that's experiencing this. I know firsthand. You know, I conversated with these people. I done 19 years with a lot of these individuals, and these people need their life back as well. So it's urgent that we move forward with them and try to help get their life back as well, because 19 years it took for me to get my life back. I went to jail at 16 years old. You know what I mean? Like, so it's time for all the innocent people to get their life back. Absolutely. Whatever they need from me, I'm there. Whatever they need.
Hey, Marvin, I was going to ask you about your hopes and dreams for yourself. I mean, technology has changed so much. Where do you see yourself doing, initiative, seeing family? What are
I mean, I'm very savvy. I'll catch on. I mean, I'll catch on. But I just want to get a job and just get my life in order. Like, just anything. I was in prison working for 25 cents an hour. I mean, anything is, as long as it's pays, I'm willing to do it. It's time to get all that back. It's all the time to get all that back. So I mean, thank you, Mary, for everything. I appreciate you guys, like, for real. knowing that I'm innocent, having that faith, I'm like, listen, somebody gonna see this stuff and see that I was really the wrong person. Like, it was procedures that was put in place to avoid these type of injustices from happening, and these guys ignored it, and it happened. So it's just like, I'm just glad that people recognize it now and we can move forward. That's it.
I have a question for you. This is at least the third case under what is now Senator Klobuchar's reign as prosecutor. Are there other cases from when she was county prosecutor?
So this case came to us through the Great North Innocence Project efforts to seek justice for Marvin. We have a number of tools that have been given to us. One is prosecutor-initiated resentencing, and we are about to roll that out in a couple of weeks. We are also building a conviction integrity unit to take a look at cases where this might have happened in the past. So those are tools that we have. We don't yet have developed the conviction integrity unit, but certainly we will be looking at other cases in the future.
So, Mary, what legally did you have to do to make this happen? You had to waive certain procedural things. Can you explain that in layman's terms?
Yes. As Andrew said, there are rules that keep people out of court if they don't bring their case in a certain amount of time. That's very difficult because oftentimes new evidence comes up. And if it comes up after those timelines, they're not allowed to bring that evidence into court. And so what we did was to waive that. So we agreed that they could bring their post-conviction proceeding even though it was after the timeline that the courts have set to bring motions like this.
What is the timeline for possible restitution? Everybody knows how hard it is to sue government and sue police. Is there a path for this man to get something back financially?
I can't really speak to timeline. So we do have a statutory regime in Minnesota for compensation for people who have been wrongfully convicted. We fully anticipate that Marvin will qualify for that, but we're taking one step at a time here. But that will be something we will be looking at for sure.
Where are the officers?
So there were two lead investigators on this case. One of them actually testified on behalf, and Andrew could talk more about that. Neither one of them is still with the Minneapolis Police Department. Maybe Andrew, if you want to talk about the police officer, the two. So one testified. One testified at the hearing, and he said that he didn't believe. Remember, I mentioned there was a lineup that was shown to the victim's sister. She identified a particular person with 75 to 80% certainty. That person was not Marvin Haynes. It was after that where the police and prosecution were trying to make a case against Marvin, where they were trying to show other lineups. And that particular investigator said he disagreed with that. I think he testified he thought it was a joke at the time. But he was overruled by his supervisors and the prosecutor, and so they went ahead with these lineups that he didn't believe should have happened. So one of the investigators did testify and was very supportive of setting aside this conviction. The other investigator retired and could not be found.
Yes, we are going to have a GoFundMe, and we will distribute that information when it's ready. So I'm sure Marvin will appreciate all the support he can get getting back on his feet.
Sir, other than seeing your family, is there any one thing that you're looking forward to, or eating, or seeing, or doing? Have your kids?
No, I just want to see my mom go walking. I mean, just the simplest things. When you go through something like this, the most simplest things, that's all that matter, like literally. So just walking, seeing the trees, seeing the sun, seeing, like, really just experience life. So yeah, simple things.
Marvin, when did you find out? Was it this
No, it was actually my birthday. I couldn't even believe it. That was the best birthday present I ever received.
You found out days ago.
Yeah.
What's it been like though, sitting there and waiting and hoping that it's going to come?
I mean, I always knew this was going to happen. I always knew I was going to get justice. I wasn't going to stop until somebody recognized what I went through and seen that I was innocent. Like, I was not going to stop at all.
When those doors opened, you saw your sisters on the other side.
I was just ecstatic to see my family, see my friends, like people that I ain't seen literally in 19 years. So, I mean, yeah.
It was also the same prosecutor who is no longer with the office. Yes, yes, same prosecutor. So, you know, one of the things I want to say is I met Marvina in my campaign, I think, and Marvina I followed me around, I think, and was trying to tell me about Marvin's case. And I remember saying very clearly, Marvina, I don't want to know the details of his case. I didn't know the details of Marvin's case. And the reason I told Marvina I didn't want to know about it, because there has to be a process. There has to be a process that has integrity to it. And so we are not at the moment going out there seeking cases where there might have been a wrongful conviction. What we are doing is setting up processes that have integrity so that we can take a look at cases. And that's, I talked about prosecutor-initiated resentencing, and I also talked about building out our conviction integrity review unit. In this particular case, it came to us through the request to have a post-conviction, this hearing. We agreed that they could have the hearing without that time bar. And it was really our team. There was a recommendation made to me. And it was only a couple of weeks ago that I actually read through every single police report in this case. I read through all of the reports. That was the very first time I had read through all of the reports. And so by the time a recommendation was made to me, I was very convinced after looking at everything that Marvin Haynes was innocent.
One more question. Mayor, I just wanted to ask, are you guys planning on charging the officers or anything to do with these telephone organizations that have locked up for 19 years?
No. Yeah, I support that legislation. For some of you, or for all of you, it may surprise you to know that our courts in general have said that even if somebody's innocent, if they haven't brought their petition forward in the amount of time allotted to them, they can still get the death penalty. This is in other states. So I think we have a real problem with courts using procedure. Not, when I say procedure, I mean time. Right? So if you don't submit your new evidence or your case within a certain period of time, the courts have said, too bad. You know, even if you are innocent, you can't submit it. And part of that has to do with finality of the process. But I think we have to, obviously, leave open the idea that there are going to be mistakes and wrongful convictions. And to the extent that we block people from having access to the courts to litigate that, I think we need to change that. And so we'll end it there. I know Marvin, if I were Marvin, I'd be wanting to get to see his mother and the rest of his family. And so thank you so much.